Next, I'm really excited to introduce our next speaker, MPP Jamie West from the Ontario New Democratic Party, labor training and skills critic, and member of the provincial parliament in his riding of Sudbury. On the need for anti-scab and pro-worker legislation here in Ontario, which we were so proud to stand with him yesterday. Welcome, Jamie. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Luke, I am your father. I was asked to help share this about surveillance yesterday. It was very important to some of the members in the room and as well to MPP Chris Glover. So this is about the workplace surveillance survey. So please, if you have the opportunity to fill out that survey. My name is, it's on page, sorry? On page 22 of your delegate guide. Thank you. My name is Jamie West. I'm the MPP for Sudbury. My pronouns are he, him. Sudbury is in the traditional territory of the Tikmashing and Anishinaabe people. It's part of the Robinson-Huron Treaty of 1850. I am the Labour critic in the Ontario NDP for the Ontario NDP, and I'm a very proud city worker with Local 6500. The playlist this week has been amazing. I've been in and out through the week, but every time someone comes in and out, there's a playlist that's going on, and it's great, whoever's organizing that. But I've had a Solidarity Forever stuck in my head for the last little while because I'm reminded through this week that it is the union that makes us strong. And I wouldn't be here without the training, support, and opportunities that I got from my union. I'll give you an example. Back in 2007, my union sent me for the Workers' Health and Safety Center training program, and it was a great program, and I felt very, very qualified, and I signed up for the very first health and safety course that we had in my workplace. But the very first module that I went to talk, I had a bit of a panic attack. It was supposed to be about 2 hours long, and I went through it in less than 10 minutes. Brother Eric Delpart barely had poured a coffee. We were teaching together, and I was like, "You're up, brother," and walked out of the room. I went upstairs to the union hall, I told him what happened, and I said, "I can't do this, you picked the wrong guy. You gotta find someone else." And my union said, "Yeah, you can." And I said, no, you don't understand, I cannot do this. You have to find somebody else. And my union asked what happened, and I said, nothing made sense to me, and I didn't know what I was talking about, I couldn't think straight, I couldn't follow the slides. You gotta find someone else. And they said, "It's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. Delpart's in there right now. He's going to do a review of the module. He's going to teach the next module. So you got 2 hours, 2 and a bit, and then there's going to be lunch. So you might have 2.5 hours to get ready. So what are you going to do?" And so I started studying. I had 2 hours. I started going through the next module, making notes on the side and looking at the slides and making sure I knew that thing like the back of my hand. And the entire week it went like that, where if I wasn't teaching, I was prepping. I taught during the day and I prepped all night. I made notes and watched what Eric did. And I got through that week. And then I did it again, and again, and again. And I love health and safety. I love teaching health and safety. I got so good at teaching health and safety. I got so good at teaching health and safety that Laurentian University hired me to teach it to second and third year students. And I'm not saying that to brag, I'm telling you that to let you know that when I didn't believe in myself, my union believed in me. It wasn't easy, but the union made me strong. Let me tell you another story closer to home. 2009, that's back when I had hair. 2009, it was my very first OFL conference. I'd never gone before. I wasn't even sure what OFL stood for. I didn't recognize a lot of the acronyms in the room. I was from a small town. We're 5 months into a strike, a year-long strike. And at 5 months, you're getting bludgeoned pretty good. 5 months in the strike, you start doing that math. You understand that your kids are going to have a tough Christmas, but the real math is in the back of your head. At 5 months, you know when you're going to be evicted. At 5 months, you know when you're going to lose your house. At 5 months, you feel that stress on your family and your marriage. 5 months is scary. And I walk through the door, I'm full of bravado, and I yell, "Who are we?" Brother Peter Wade is with me. Brother Wayne Ray is with me, the Yale-backed steelworkers. I want to set the tone. Help me out here. I'm going to say, who are we? I want you to say union workers. Who are we?
Union workers.
Who are we?
Union workers.
Who are we?
Union workers.
That's exactly how we come to the door, and we're loud and boisterous. We hit the mic right over here, and I look up, and I catch a glimpse of me on that big screen, and it's a little overwhelming. And just for a second, my voice cracks. But I catch it and I say, my name is Jamie West. I'm a steelworker from Local 6500. We're in the fight of our lives, and we need your help. And my voice cracks because my local, USW Local 6500, we're a fighting union. Local 6500 is the big kids on our block. Our contracts were known as Inco pattern bargaining. That meant that we fought, we won. We set the tone for industry and everyone followed. But we're 5 months into a strike and I am scared. I'm worried about my wife and kids. I'm worried about my members. I'm worried about the future of my union. I'm worried how much longer we can keep going. And I'm asking for help, and I don't know a single soul in this room. I get chills thinking about that. Next thing I know, strangers are at the mic, people I have never met. I got you, brother. Large unions, district directors, they're at the mics first. I got you for $5,000. Who can match $5,000 and people are going up? I got you, brother. Your fight is our fight, brother. Then the presidents are up next. Presidents are saying stuff, I can only authorize 200, but I'm going back to the executive board. We're good for at least $1,000. I got you, brother. Then it's members. Members at the mic. I got $50. You can have my per diem, brother. Next thing I know, they're bringing out those tubs are used to clear the tables. They're handing out those big gray tubs around the room. Comrades yelling out, you give them hell, brother. Your fight is my fight, brother. We're in this together, brother. I picture that. I could hear that noise today in this room. I hear change hitting the bucket. Change hitting the bucket in a room full of strangers, people I never met. We raised $100,000 in this room, $100,000. I'm glad you clapped because I was about to cry. I got to tell you what that meant for our union. That money put food on the table for people. That money saved marriages. That money helped us keep up the fight for a fair contract. We walked that picket line until we got a fair contract because of people like you in this room. That day I walked to that door as an activist in my union, but I walked out of this room as an activist for labor because the union makes us strong. During that year-long strike, I became a New Democrat. If you watch election commercials, every politician is your best friend in the best of times. But I'll tell you, in the worst of times, the Democrats were the only politicians that had our backs. The only politicians. They had our backs at Queen's Park. They had our backs at the House of Commons. They came to our picket lines and walked the lines with us. They spoke at our rallies. They took our voices back to the legislature and they amplified what we had to say. They demanded accountability. They called for an end to our strike. They demanded bargaining. My MPP was a Liberal. My MPP was the Minister of Northern Development and Mining. My riding, Sudbury, is the nickel capital of the world. We're in a strike for 1 year against one of the largest mining companies in the world. We had 10 picket lines 24 hours a day, and I don't remember seeing my MPP once. I saw New Democrats, though. I saw France Jelena and Andrew Horvath. I saw Gilles Bisson and Paul Miller and Charlie Angus. I saw Jack Layton. I'm a New Democrat MPP, and the only photo I have of Jack Layton is one in the hallway when I was here trying to raise money and hand out pins for solidarity, and one at my picket line. And that's the year I learned that when workers need help, New Democrats come running. When I thought about running for the NDP, I knew I can do it because the union had made me strong. I love saying all the time that steelworkers make great leaders. I'm talking about the members themselves, but I'm talking about the union making us into great leaders. But that is something that is unique to every one of our unions. Because union members make great leaders because our unions make us strong. I'm not the only NDP, MPP that comes from labor. There are politicians out there who love that working class solidarity. They love to put on a union hat or t-shirt and pose for photos. But we are workers. Mark came from ACTRA. Joel is from CUPE. Jen and Terrence are from EDFO. Wayne's from Unifor. Guy's a steelworker like me. Jeff is SEIU and Steel. A lot of politicians, they talk about workers, but only in the best of times. Where are they in the worst of times? Do they show up? Do they show up when you really need them? There are politicians who come out to the tour of the workplace. There are politicians who come out for a ribbon cutting. There are politicians who might wander down their steps to the Queen's Park and take a photo or shake hands with you, but do they show up when you really need them? Who was there when the Liberals attacked workers with Bill 115? Who was there when the Conservatives attacked workers with Bill 124? Who was there when the Conservatives attacked CUPE workers, the education workers, the lowest paid education workers who are using food banks with Bill 28? I know the NDP was there with Bill 115. Jen French and I weren't even elected yet. Jen French was one of the people who organized the rally in Toronto. I came down from Sudbury to march because I was a labor activist. A Bill 124, I was named. It's a polite way of saying I got kicked out of Queen's Park for being too loud. For Bill 124, there were a lot of MPPs who were named that day, but I'll tell you, every single one of them were New Democrats. In Bill 28, I was named. I was kicked out. Brother Peter Tabbins is in the room right here. Brother Tabbins was the first of us to get kicked out. And there were a lot of MPPs who were kicked out over Bill 28 for making too much noise, for calling out the worker as a dirtbag employer, calling out the Ministry of Labor, I meant, as the dirtbag employer, calling out the Premier as a liar. There were a lot of MPPs who were kicked out that day, but every single one of them was a New Democrat. When it comes to picket lines, who was at the ACTRA picket line? Who was at the Toronto Met picket line, the Windsor Salt, the Metro Grocery, the TVO, the Bradford Libraries Workers picket line? We were. Not just New Democrats, Labor was there because Labor comes together. But I'll tell you, brothers and sisters, I'll tell you, comrades, New Democrats walk picket lines. We are a party of workers, for workers, by workers. We are proud to be workers, and when you are in a fight, we come running because New Democrats love walking picket lines. And when it comes to worker rights, we bring your voices back to Queen's Park. We amplify and echo the fights that you're having. We demand solutions. We propose solutions. We fight for anti-scab. We bring the voice and demand that they vote against it. Put up or shut up is what we tell Doug Ford. Anti-scab and paid sick days and rent evictions. We fight against corporate greed and wage theft. The Conservative government right now is debating a bill that already exists about wage theft while leaving about $10 million on the table that they know was stolen from workers through wage theft. I'm not here today, brothers and sisters, to convince you to vote NDP. I'm a New Democrat. I know what my party is. I know where my values are. But I am here to remind you that in every single fight, every time workers need help, New Democrats come running. I'm here to remind you that New Democrats aren't into working class cosplay because we are workers, goddammit. And we're proud of it. Because brothers and sisters, because comrades, because it's the union that makes us strong. Solidarity forever.